Listen, the one thing that's going to help you understand that this world is an illusion in the concept of time. Alright? When I did this diagram and I put it out there, it was an amazing response. You know, all over the world people come back to me and they said, this really fills the course of them. This really makes the course. That makes them understand the illusion of time. And this came to me through direct experience myself, being out of body and at different levels. Because I had an experience where my second experience, 3 months after my first experience, I was sitting along with my cousin and I had another out-of-body experience, and it was into a higher consciousness level. It was much more profound and a higher level than the first experience I had. Now, to me it lasted a couple of minutes, but to the person who was sitting beside me, it was an hour and a half. Alright? I was outside of time and space. I was in a different level of consciousness. Okay? The person was sitting on the couch beside me was my cousin, and she experienced everything that happened. When I was coming back into the body, alright, I was which was coming back into this physical world, alright, it was being like lowered into a dark cave. It just got darker and darker and darker and darker and darker. Now this wasn't anything to do with light. It was coming into the physical world, was cold. It was dense. It was basically, you know, being lowered into, like I say, a dark, cold, dingy cave. Alright? That was the first experience I had. When I looked at my cousin before I was back in the body, she was sitting there. She was a prism of light. Her whole body, no features, just a prism of the most beautiful vision I've ever seen in my life. Of pure light. All the different colours of the chakras and everything. But that experience showed me 2 things. The levels of time. Say right here, okay, at this level, right, 1,000 years pass. Okay? Now, when you go back into spirit, the time is 1 year. Okay? So, people say to me, oh, I heal my mind, I have to wait till everybody else heals their mind. Right? It doesn't work like that. Okay? You don't have to sit around for millions of years waiting for everybody else to cop themselves on, like, you know. So when you go back into spirit, okay, 1,000 years is 1 year. Okay? You're only up there for a blink and you're down here. And you're only down here for a blink up there. Alright? Once you start moving back up then, in the higher self, 1 day is 1,000 years. Okay? You move up to Christ, 1 second is 1,000 years. Right? And this is the key. When Jesus said, when I awoke, you awoke. Alright? He awoke, right, 2,000 years ago here, which was 2 seconds ago here. Right? But it's taken, you know, they say a planet is so many light years away.
Yes.
So you look at it and say it takes 1,000 years for that light to hit us. Alright? Well, it's taken 2,000 years, 2 seconds for that light to hit us here. Same thing. Alright? So, 2 seconds ago here was 2,000 years ago here. And that's why we're starting to awaken up now. It's because we're reaching the consciousness of here. It's taken 2,000 years for that levels of time to hit here. Okay. Up here, where we had the tiny mad idea, the thought of separation, time happened, as Jesus says, of course, a tiny tick of time. The smallest quantum time, tick of time there is a Planck second. And a Planck second is a millionth of a millionth of a millionth of a millionth of a second. Alright? That's how quick all of this happened. And the way I use it is I had a yo-yo, right? So the yo-yo here is at this level. Alright? So the whole separation, every lifetime that you ever happened there. From this point up here, it happened in far quicker than that. But as, say, the yo-yo starts to drop, this was the introduction of time, and it started to get slower and slower and slower and slower and slower. From this perspective up here, is that quick? From this perspective down here, it's been 14 billion years. Okay, but we've never left here. Okay, we're into that drag of time here. Okay, but when we start coming back up again, time gets quicker and quicker and quicker. And when we get back to this perspective here, we're just at the end of that cycle. That's why the separation never happened. The whole thing came in as a thought. And in that instant, that thought, God put the correction for that thought in, which was the Holy Spirit, and it was corrected. The instant it happened was the same instant that it was corrected. But it's our experience that we're here for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. What I say to people is, right, you think you are here, but you're really here. You ever see them signs on shopping markets, you are here?
Yeah.
Right? Well, we think we're here. In reality, that's where we're at. That's why the separation never happened, because it could never happen. It was just as Jesus says in the Course, not one note in heaven's song was missed at